Hi friends, this channel is about interesting facts and events. Germany didn't just give the world brilliant engineers and philosophers. It also created what feels like a near-perfect piece of biological weaponry. Today, we're not just comparing two dogs. We're comparing two very different ideas of power. On one side, elegance sharpened to the absolute. A mind that moves faster than its body. A dog that feels like a live wire, always humming under the surface. That's the Doberman. On the other side, ancient, grounded strength. The calm of a mountain. A confidence so solid it doesn't need to prove anything. That's the Rottweiler. A lot of people choose with their eyes and make a fatal mistake by missing the essence. Why do people say a Doberman keeps you from ever truly relaxing? Why will a Rottweiler one day quietly climb onto your shoulders and run the household himself? Online, most comparisons sound like this. Who would win in a fight? But let's be honest, you and I aren't heading into gladiator arenas. We're going to live with this dog, share a home, walk in the park. So what are they really like day to day? And most importantly, which one actually fits your personality? Let's talk about it simply. To understand a dog, you first need to know why it was created in the first place. And here the difference is enormous. Let's start with the Rottweiler. At heart, he's a working guy from a small town. His ancestors marched in with the Romans, but the breed itself took shape in the German town of Rottweil. What did he do there? Guarded cattle and pulled carts loaded with meat. That's actually where the German name comes from. The butcher's dog, the Metzgerhund. There's a fun bit of history. After a long day, butchers would go to the tavern and hang their day's earnings in a purse around the Rottweiler's neck. They could drink all they wanted. Nobody was going to get close to that dog. So the Rottweiler is basically that reliable friend who doesn't drink. You don't have to repeat things 100 times. He already knows what needs to be done. During World War I and II, Rottweilers delivered messages, guarded camps and bases, transported the wounded, moved supplies, and protected warehouses. That serious, piercing stare made Rottweilers perfect dark guardians on screen, and their appearance in The Omen sealed the breed's cinematic image forever. The Doberman is a completely different story. It's the only German breed named after its creator, Friedrich Louis Dobermann. He worked as a tax collector and night watchman. People hated him, attacked him, and he needed a bodyguard, one that never slept. The Doberman is a 19th century invention, a genetic cocktail. German Pinscher, Rottweiler. Yep, there is Rottweiler blood in there. Greyhound for speed, Weimaraner for scenting ability. In his hometown of Apolda, there's even a monument dedicated to Dobermans. Dobermans like Butch served with American soldiers during World War II, doing guard and patrol work right on the front lines. In movies, the Doberman usually shows up like a living arrow, fast, precise, expressive. A classic example is the crime film The Doberman Gang, and then you have the eerie, almost supernatural Doberman character in Dracula's Dog. Today, both Dobermans and Rottweilers serve in police units, the military, and in security and search and rescue teams. The Doberman is a tall, elegant, tightly built athlete, usually about 28 inches at the shoulder. He weighs about 88 pounds, but he always looks lighter, as if his body was built to slice through the air. The classic colors are black and rust or brown and rust, with the rare fawn, blue-gray, or even white. There was a time when almost every Doberman had cropped ears and a docked tail, but nowadays you see more and more in their natural form. The Rottweiler is the opposite type, a low center of gravity with a powerhouse frame. He stands about 26 inches tall and can weigh close to 132 pounds, and the color is always the same, black with tan markings. The breed never had cropped ears, and modern standards keep the tail natural as well. Doberman. You know what owners often call them? The shadow dog. Once you bring a Doberman home, forget about personal space. You go to the kitchen. He's right behind you. You go to the bathroom. He's sitting at the door, sighing. You flop on the couch. He tries to climb onto your lap, even though he weighs about 90 pounds. His energy is off the charts. He always needs something to do. If you lie on the couch all day doing nothing, your Doberman will either annoy you relentlessly or tear the place apart out of boredom. His mind is lightning fast. He picks up everything in a flash, but he needs constant movement and mental challenges. The myth about Dobermans, that they're nervous or emotionally unstable. The reality, they're true cholerics, explosive, high-energy dogs with brains that need constant stimulation. Rottweiler, he's the complete opposite. More of a sanguine type, sometimes even leaning toward phlegmatic. At home, you often barely see or hear him. He finds a corner, flops down, and goes to sleep. Rottweilers are confident. They don't need to check every second with their owner. Are you here? Do you love me? They already know they're a good boy. But Rottweilers have a little twist, stubbornness. They're thoughtful in their own way. You give a command, and he first thinks, do I really need to do this? You need to be firm but calm with him. If you yell at a Doberman, he'll get it immediately. A Rottweiler, though, he might take offense or dig in his heels. The myth about Rottweilers, dumb and aggressive. The reality, Rottweilers have one of the most stable temperaments around. They don't bark for no reason. They're thinking dogs. If a Rottweiler ever attacks, it's almost always a mistake by the owner, breaking the dog through cruelty or spoiling. Yes, they have a tendency to dominate. But in a family, they're often big, soft teddy bears, letting kids tug on their ears until they sense a real threat. Friends, the video features illustrations created by the author. Our portfolio includes all dog breeds. If you'd like to explore them or purchase for personal or commercial use, follow the links in the channel description. And now, let's continue. Let's talk about how they actually work. A lot of people argue about which one is stronger, but that's the wrong question. A better one is, who's more effective in different situations? Picture this. A dark alley and a street thug appears. The Doberman reacts proactively. He's like a bullet, fast and precise. He'll start barking, jumping, showing his teeth from a distance. His goal is to scare off the threat and keep them away. A Rottweiler can stay completely silent until the very last moment. He'll just plant himself in front of you and give a hard, steady stare. And if the threat doesn't get it, he simply moves forward and uses his sheer weight to take control. Once a Rottweiler grabs on, he won't let go. He'll hang on and endure any blows. The difference is simple. The Doberman is active defense, lots of noise and movement. The Rottweiler is passive power, only activating when it really counts. This is exactly why Rottweilers are considered more dangerous for first-time owners. He doesn't warn 100 times, he just acts. The Rottweiler's trump card is his physical mass and jaw strength, one of the highest among dogs. When a Rottweiler attacks, his goal is to knock down and dominate with sheer weight. He doesn't fuss or hurry. There's a terrifying tank-like confidence in him. He can endure pain, ignore hits. Activating a Rottweiler is easy. Stopping one once he's attacking is not for the faint of heart. The Doberman style is hit and run. Bite, back off, then repeat. He has no protective fat layer to absorb blows, so his defense is speed and intensity. A Doberman's intelligence is phenomenal, and also his curse. He analyzes situations faster than a human. While a Rottweiler is still thinking about a command, a Doberman has already figured out how to work around it. In the modern world, Dobermans are almost gone from police and military work. Not because they're weak, but because they're too smart and too bonded to their handler. A Doberman can't live in a kennel. He wastes away from loneliness. A Rottweiler, on the other hand, is self-sufficient. Why do people call the Doberman the dog with a human brain? Sounds like a compliment, but in reality, it's a challenge. With this dog, you'll never truly relax. He doesn't just follow commands, he studies you. A Doberman reads your mood, your facial expressions, even the rhythm of your breathing. He's not a servant, he's an intellectual partner. If you slack off or aren't in the right mood, a Doberman will notice and start testing boundaries. It's a constant mental duel, a game of chess where your dog tries to stay one step ahead. He demands dialogue, not just a bowl of food. And what about the Rottweiler? He's often called stubborn, but a more accurate term would be an unbending conservative. Unlike the Doberman, he doesn't fuss or scheme. A Rottweiler asserts himself through calm. The danger is that his dominance is quiet. He won't growl at you immediately. He'll simply one day refuse to move out of the way. Then he'll slowly follow a command. Then he'll decide the couch is his spot. If a Doberman confidently demands control, a Rottweiler assumes that control already belongs to him by birthright. And if you don't have enough firmness of character, one day he may simply stop listening, convinced he's the senior in the pack. We can't skip health. It's crucial to know before getting a puppy. Dobermans are incredibly beautiful dogs with fragile hearts. Cardiomyopathy is the breed's biggest issue. Simply put, their heart can just stop. And this can happen even in a young, active, beautiful dog. One moment he's fine, and the next, it's gone. So, if you get a Doberman, be ready for annual heart checks, an echocardiogram and a Holter monitor. It's mandatory. Rottweilers have their own set of problems. They're heavy dogs, so their joints take a beating. Dysplasia, ligament tears. On top of that, they're prone to obesity. Overfeed a Rottweiler and don't give him enough exercise, and you'll end up with a giant pumpkin on legs. Plus, cancer is fairly common in the breed. It sounds grim, but this is the reality of owning a large, purebred dog. Just make sure to check the puppy's parents and run the necessary tests. And finally, the most important question, who should you choose? Look in the mirror. Who chooses a Doberman? They're aesthetes, perfectionists, physically active people who appreciate grace and intelligence. You need a partner who watches your every move, who catches every gesture. The Doberman is your mirror. If you're nervous, he panics. If you're composed, he's perfect. The Doberman is like a Ferrari, expensive, prestigious, fast, but it demands perfect care and constant attention. Who's a Rottweiler for? If you want a reliable friend you can just sit quietly with. If you're not into fuss, don't want to run marathons every day, and just want to stroll down the street knowing no one will bother you, get a Rottweiler. But keep in mind, you need inner strength. Rottweilers sense weakness. If you're a soft person, he'll climb on your shoulders and take over the house. The Rottweiler is like a tanky SUV, boxy, heavy, unstoppable, and goes anywhere. Now let's talk about a topic everyone tries to dodge: aggression. And most importantly, who's really more dangerous? The Doberman, the Rottweiler, or the person holding the leash? The Doberman is sudden, quick, sharp, like a blade. The Rottweiler is mass, slow, relentless, like a press. Comparing them is like comparing a grenade to a sledgehammer. Different tools, but in the hands of an idiot, the result is the same. Why does this happen at all? The Doberman reacts sharply. He can lunge at any movement he interprets as a signal. The Rottweiler doesn't like being pushed around. He doesn't warn for long, he just acts. Many owners want power but don't want discipline. They want a guard dog on the command, activate, but they're in no hurry to activate their own brains. Picture this. A child raises a hand. The Doberman sees a signal and lunges. Not because he's aggressive, but because the owner never taught him which movements mean play and which mean act. We love dogs for their intelligence, but we forget that intelligence is reactive. And when the owner doesn't set boundaries, things can quickly get out of control. A stranger walks into the yard. The Rottweiler doesn't warn, he just does his job. The owner never taught him that a person at the gate isn't always a threat. This isn't aggression, it's a lack of training. And later, it's not the dog who has to deal with the consequences, it's the owner, in court. On the other hand, both Dobermans and Rottweilers have saved people, shielded children, stopped attackers. They learned this not from instinct, but from owners who knew what they were doing. Sometimes the simplest solution seems to be, just ban the breed. Sounds just as naive as banning hammers. They can be dangerous too. The Doberman is a precision tool, like a surgical knife. The Rottweiler is a power tool, like a heavy hammer. Both can save lives. Both can do harm. The question is simple. Who's holding the tool? And be honest, who's scarier to meet on the street? A powerful dog or a weak owner? In conclusion, there's no bad breed. There's just the wrong choice. If you want a shadow dog, an intellectual companion who will sleep under the covers with you and be ready to risk everything for you a second after waking up, your pick is the Doberman. But be prepared to give him 24/7 attention. If you want a self-sufficient partner, an unshakable guardian who forgives small mistakes in training, but demands a firm hand from a leader, your path leads to the Rottweiler. I deliberately didn't say which one is better, because the best dog is the one you feel comfortable living with. Write in the comments. Which one speaks to you more? The Doberman's hustle and drive, or the Rottweiler's calm strength? I'd love to read how you made your choice. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the Heart Inside You channel. Give it a like and share it with your friends. Which breed would you like to see in the next video? Write your suggestions in the comments. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time.